Welcome back to another weekly recap. I'm Brie E Anderson, and this week we're going to be talking about some volatility in Google search trends. Then we're going to talk about how Spotify has finally opened up their self-service ad platform outside of the US, UK, Australia, and Canada. Then we're going to talk a little bit about gaming content on social media and how some of the biggest tech industry players are sharing even more of our data at this time. Then we're going to go outside digital and talk about some birthday party alternatives during social distancing. First things first, let's talk about these changes in Google search trends. So, as we know, more and more people are searching, and they're searching from desktop, which changes their SERP a lot. They're searching for more health-related, e-commerce-related, food-related, and news-related content than pretty much ever before. And they're interacting with the search engines very differently than they have in the past. This has led a lot of SEOs, Dr. Pete, Maria Hayes, all sorts of big search engine players or search engine optimization players to kind of question what's going on. There are two options. The first is that Google's algorithm is adapting to the change in search behavior, and they are tweaking their algorithm to show different content than what was originally showing up, or it's really truly just that users are acting a lot different than they have in the past. The reason we know that these things are happening is because there were about 16 straight days of search volatility. You can see search volatility with tools like Rank Ranger, Moz, or SEM Rush. All of them will show you that your specific search terms that you are tracking, if they have volatility. And all that volatility means is that the first 3 or 5 or 10 rankings are actually changing very often. It's not like no matter what, if you search this term, Amazon is going to show up first. If it's volatile, that means that Amazon could show up first, second, third, or fourth, right? It means that there's no real certainty in the SERP right now and that it's constantly changing. Usually this is an indicator that Google's search algorithms have changed because we would see quite a few days of a lot of volatility because the new algorithm is trying to sort who they really think would show up first or should show up first. But there's really no way to tell. John Mueller did say that he doesn't think that the change in user behavior is really going to influence the algorithm that much. He said that he believes that his team would be able to find that out and actually put it into it. They look for things like that to make sure that users aren't really manipulating the algorithm too heavily in this sense, especially because it's all very COVID related, right? There have been an increase in searches for essential e-commerce. There's been an increase of searches for news and for food content. The big one to point out here is that there has also been an increase in health-related content. Or in health-related queries. We know this is a big deal because with the rollout of Eat, we know that the Your Money, Your Life content really got hit hard and that health and wellness was within that. So we know that Google has already kind of hit some of these places pretty hard. Marie Hayes specifically was citing that, she had a client that had a really good article on how to make hand sanitizer at home using just a few ingredients. Obviously, that is very important right now, and people are looking things like that up. But after the last algorithm update, or with the release of Eat, I suppose, that article had really been hit hard and got pushed to page 3. So now it's kind of like Google's having to relearn, like, okay, so usually when people look up hand sanitizer, they're looking to buy it. But so many e-commerce sites have so many things that are now marked unlisted that Google actually has to offer some alternatives, right? The user's not always going to know that every e-com site they go to is going to be out of stock. So Google should be able to show you results in case all of those things are out of stock. So we just really have seen a lot of changes in search volatility. Like I said, we know more people are searching on desktop. That changes the search engine result page a lot because there's a lot more that Google can put on that SERP. We've also seen the rollout of a lot of new SERP features. So Google has put out schema specifically for events. They've put out new schema specifically for healthcare providers and for COVID announcements. All of these different things that are now going into the SERP, and they're kind of moving things around a little bit. So that volatility is something you definitely want to be taking note of if you're in SEO, specifically if you're trying to keep clients right now. And it's also something to make your clients aware of ahead of time and just let them know, like, look, things are a little bit crazy right now, and we're seeing this kind of movement in our rankings. Don't be alarmed. And with that being said, spending on search engine marketing has gone down, and eMarketer actually released their latest forecast for this year's SEM spend, and they said it would be down $6 to $8 billion from what they had originally anticipated. So if you have the money, I would say invest in search engine marketing right now. I can tell you that I'm running a campaign for a client, and we are literally having a cost per click of like 10 cents for specific keywords. And, you know, like I said, there's an increase in searches for news, health, food, e-commerce, those things, right? So they're going to be a little more competitive. But in those places where you can play and you have the money to spend, when you know that your competitors are pulling their budget, now is the time to kind of double down on that if you have the leeway. If not, focus on your SEO and your organic, but really you may have to move to social media to try and bring that revenue in. You know, my biggest piece of advice is if you are on e-com, you should definitely be working on Pinterest, because that's really going to get you the dollars at this point. And same goes for health and food. All three of those topics that are being searched like crazy on Google right now perform very, very well on Pinterest. And you can almost guarantee that if they're being searched a lot on Google, they're going to be searched a lot on Pinterest as well. So make sure if you're in those three, I would definitely suggest heading over to Pinterest. If you are not in one of those four categories and you do have budget, I would consider at least testing a search engine marketing campaign, just because so many people are pausing their budgets because it's so easy to do. They can't cut their traditional dollars as easily. They can't cut a lot of their budgets as easily as they can with digital marketing, because obviously we know that all it takes is hitting the pause button to pause those campaigns, right? So with a lot of people, like I said, pulling that money, now is definitely time to jump in if you have some extra cash that you can spend. All right, now moving on to Spotify. This is really exciting for me. So we know that podcasting has blown up. We know that streaming services have blown up. But Spotify kind of, obviously, they capture both of those audiences. I will say podcast numbers have gone down a lot. People aren't commuting. They're not having to sit in their office all day with nothing to listen to. But streaming, music streaming, is still staying pretty steady. So Spotify, just like I said, took their ad platform out of beta. This is really exciting. Their self-serve ad platform, I should say. This is really exciting for a lot of different reasons. The first is, like I said, you're really tapping into a very engaged audience, but also because the buy-in for Spotify's self-serve platform is only $250. You only have to have $250 to spend on media placements to get into or to place an ad on Spotify. Obviously, you get to target people on things like gender, age, things of that nature. And then if you sell anything music related, you can target them on like specific genres or kind of what their listening habits are. If you sell something outside of that, you can target on interests now. That's something they just opened up. They went from 2,000 geo-targeting locations to 18,000 geo-targeting locations. That is insane. And even better, this is the best part. If you have the money to test something, even if it's not now, in the future, if you have money to test something in 2020, I would suggest this $250. The best part is that Spotify will actually create your creative for you. They know that not everybody has access to a microphone and music and all of that stuff. So if you send them a script, in 48 hours, they will send you back creative that you can place on their ad platform. Is that not nuts? Please tell me in the comments below if you would use that, because I would totally use it. Super exciting. They have professionals on staff that will do that for you. Like I said, that's mind-blowing. blowing. I see this being a really big opportunity for small businesses if they take it. Like I said, a $250 buy-in, that is insane. They've seen their numbers of advertisers go up over 68% in the last year, and they've doubled the amount of ads that they are placing. So this is going to be a big deal. We know that voice is coming, right? They said that 2020 was going to be the year of voice. But streaming is so big, and to be able to tap in to a platform that reaches users both on the music streaming side and that podcast streaming side, I think this is going to be very, very useful for the people that decide to do it. I know that currently a lot of people are having to place ads in like podcasts and things like that, one-on-one or through like Stitcher or something like that, where they have to buy like a package. But with Spotify, $250, I mean, come on, that's just insane. That's awesome. I really do feel like we will see a comeback of voice advertising. So like I said, 2020 was going to be the year of voice. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot more voice searches happening, and voice interaction happening, but we cannot forget this streaming side of voice and the power that audio can actually have, because you can increase the frequency. You can put frequency caps on Spotify, by the way, but you can increase the frequency and catch people when they're doing something that they enjoy. It's kind of like the millennials version of the radio, right? So definitely at least just take a look into it. Like I said, if you have money to test something in 2020, even if it's not right now, I understand that, I would definitely give Spotify a try. All right, now let's move into gaming content on social media. A lot has been going on around gaming in social media. We all know Twitch is blowing up. Twitch is actually even strayed away from just gaming content. Now they're hosting live concerts and just all sorts of things are going on Twitch. But Facebook recently just came out and said that you can now host your own gaming tournaments where you can make them public or private. You can invite people to them. And you can pick what kind of game you guys are playing. You can set up your own tournament right there in Facebook. We've known for a long time that Facebook wants to play in this gaming world. And so this is a good step for them. Another step that I noticed when I was testing out Facebook Live Producer is that they have right there in Live Producer an option for you to stream your gaming through Facebook Live. So we know that game streaming is very, very big, and a lot of those conversations are very big. And going off of that, the second half of March, Twitter said they saw a 71% increase in conversations around gaming. Now, this is very logical, right? They sent all the kids home from school, and the kids have nothing to do, and they want to get away from their parents, and so they're playing video games. And not just kids, right? Like, adults are playing video games. It's a nice way to get away from things. They're very, very addicting. You kind of get sucked in, right? So all of this gaming content is really popping up, and a lot more platforms are jumping into this culture. Out of the top 10 YouTubers, 5 of them were gaming streamers or gaming videographers. So I've got a few different theories on this. The first is that all of these sports that just got canceled should have their players stream themselves playing as themselves in, the NBA games or NFL games, whatever. They should all have them playing like that. I know a lot. The NHL just did a really cool campaign about how they miss playing hockey and things like that. But it would be really cool to see them playing NHL and streaming that as themselves. Maybe they could have, the actual Bruins playing the actual Capitals, right? Like, that would be kind of fun to see. I definitely think there's an opportunity there, but I don't think there's only an opportunity for sports and video game specific companies in this arena. So if you know the target audience of a lot of these video games, so we know that Call of Duty is mostly male, and they're mostly in their teen to 20 years. So if that is your audience, why wouldn't you find a gamer to sponsor? Or maybe you can find a group of people and sponsor a Facebook tournament, right? And get people engaged that way. There are so many opportunities here to be a part of the conversation and join in on a very, very active community. If you've not been a part of a gaming community, I would challenge you to just go out and sit in on a chat room, watch a Twitch stream. These people are very, very engaged and they're very dedicated and loyal audiences. These are the kind of people that you want to be dedicated to your brand because they are going to stick with you. They're going to interact with you. You know, a lot of times when we think of gamers, we think of introverts, and they might be introverted, but they are very conversational with each other, and they're very conversational online because they feel more comfortable that way. So like I said, if you are looking for an audience to engage right now, I would definitely suggest maybe hopping on Twitter and joining those conversations, or like I said, sponsoring a Facebook tournament, a Facebook gaming tournament. There's so many opportunities here right now. And if you target men or people that play specific games at all, I would definitely say now is the time to jump in because these people are playing their games. I saw a really cool campaign that Call of Duty just released a new game, and they partnered up with the pizza shop and sent pizzas to some of their biggest fans, and the pizza boxes were Call of Duty pizza boxes, which was really, really cool. I'll share that link in the description below, but there's some really creative things you can do, and remember, as people are in isolation, think of the things that they're going to be doing in isolation, and how can you be a part of that with them, right? So like I said, the pizza thing, that was a really good idea. I know Netflix has teamed up with Instagram, and they're making sure that they're getting out positive messages to a lot of the young adults that are sitting around and streaming Netflix right now. There's just a lot of opportunity to still be a part of people's lives, even though they may not be coming into your store or they may not be coming to your mastermind, right? So I encourage you to, like I said, find the community you want to be a part of and at least go sit in on a conversation and kind of be a fly on the wall, because social media gives us the ability to do that, and we would be silly not to take that opportunity. Okay, now I want to talk about location sharing. I've been hearing rumors about this for a couple weeks now, and I never really thought that it would come true, but Google and Facebook Google, Facebook, and Apple all confirmed this week that they are, in fact, sharing location data with the CDC and WHO and other organizations. So Google and Apple specifically have teamed up to make what they've called contact tracking. And so essentially what this is going to be used for, supposedly, is if you come in and you test positive for COVID-19, they will be able to track all of the people that you've had contact with over the last 14 days, right? I had a friend that went to the doctor and tested positive for COVID-19. The doctor had them download an app to where they could monitor them and their movement. Craziness in my mind. I understand this is for people's health and this is for people's safety. I am concerned because so many people are weirded out by the amount of information that these big tech companies have on them. Google and Apple have said, yes, people are going to have to opt into this. I don't know what that truly looks like, because I do know also that they're going to have an API where they share this information with X, Y, and Z people. Don't know who all those people are yet. Facebook said that they're doing something very similar as well, where they're tracking contact between people. I know that Snapchat has been using their Snap Map and kind of just showing people what their friends are doing. But to me, this is a thin line where I think that a lot of our tech industry people, they need to be very, very careful. They need to be explicit about this. It's kind of odd to me because I know in the past that Apple has said, no way, no how are we going to be giving away our users' information. And so for them to join with Google and do this, like I said, I understand it is for kind of the greater good here, but I do just think it's interesting. And like I said, we really need to tread lightly on this one. I really hope that it's true that they wait for an opt-in to do this. But you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where this one is going. Like I said, those articles are always in the description, but I would really encourage you to look at these and kind of give me your thoughts on it, because I could be wrong. People might understand, but at the same time, I just worry. And that's really all I'm going to say on that. Now let's talk about alternative birthday parties. So this has been a real bummer of a time for people that have anniversaries and they're in long distance relationships, or people that are having birthdays. I know for seniors in high school or college, this has been a really tough time. So I thought it was really cool when I started seeing some of the alternative birthday parties that are happening. So I just wanted to talk about a few. I did see TechCrunch posted an entire article about some alternative birthday parties. The one that I thought was the most fun was that Sky Zone, which is kind of like a trampoline park franchise that's through the US. They are offering virtual birthday parties via Zoom. So you can invite your guests through a Zoom invitation for all the littles. They all get onto a Zoom. One of the employees from Sky Zone actually takes them through like trivia and dance-offs, and they learn a TikTok dance, and they just do all this fun stuff for about 25 minutes. It's a way for Sky Zone's employees to still be working. They don't make a bunch of money off of it or anything. It's really just kind of a cool way to keep kids engaged, to keep people loyal to the brand. And to have some fun during this time. So definitely look into Sky Zone if you have a little one that's having a birthday party soon. House party's really popular with some of the older kids. It allows you to play games like Heads Up and Trivia and a few other games, but that's kind of fun because, like I said, you get to play those games with your friends. It is like a Zoom, but it does have those games built in, which is really fun. Something that I used a lot when I was in a long distance relationship, at the time it was called Rabbitcast. Now it's just called Cast. It's K-A-S-T. It allows you to watch movies together or watch TV together. That's always fun, especially for people that are used to kind of recapping afterwards with somebody, or maybe they're just wanting to have a movie night and they don't want to do it by themselves. Cast is really fun because it allows you to watch the exact same thing at the exact same time. So I would definitely look that up. Another fun thing that I've been seeing is I've seen a lot of artists doing live stream concerts as part of like a bigger benefit, right? I know a lot of people have been doing this. BET has put one on, Plus One Music, or I just saw one today that was called Human to Human. There have been a lot of different live stream concerts. Twitch has done multiple. TikTok has done multiple, but I think it would be a really cool idea, and I've not seen anyone do this. This was something I just came up off the top of my head, but a lot of artists aren't able to tour right now. So what if you could pay an artist to give you and your friends a live stream concert? How cool would that be? I think I would actually pay for that. That'd be pretty fun. So I'm just thinking, we can get creative. We can still have fun during this time. One more thing that they said for little kids in that TechCrunch article was Roblox, which is like a kids game, I guess. But it allows kids to play with each other and kind of have a conversation at the same time. So, you could give the invite to all of the parents, all the kiddos log on, and then they can play together, which is fun. I think it is extremely important that we stay connected right now. It's very easy to feel alone during these times, but the reality of it is we're all going through this together. And so finding these ways to connect. I know my friend Rob Belasabas has virtual happy hours on Fridays for a lot of our content creation friends. A lot of people have been doing Zoom sessions and things like that, and that's fun, but it's always nice to add another element to it. So I really think some of these apps should help you out next time you have a birthday party, or next time you just want to get together with friends during this crazy time. So that's all I've got for this week, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the weekly recap, and I'll see you next Sunday at 7 p.m.